Ever wonder if you're doing better or worse than everyone else when it comes to money? Maybe you check your account and think, am I behind or is everyone else just faking it? You scroll past vacations, new cars, and kitchen remodels and wonder how are people affording this? Because deep down you feel like you're working harder but standing still. The truth? Most people are too. They just don't talk about it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what the average person's finances actually look like. And I promise some of these stats will make you feel better, and others will hit hard. My name's Bobby, and I help people understand the money habits that make or break their future. Because if you don't know where you stand, you'll never know where you need to go. So let's start with the one number. Everyone loves to compare income. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says the median full-time worker earns just over $1,000 per week. That's about $52,000 a year before taxes, right in the middle of the pack. Sounds decent, right? Until you remember Uncle Sam hasn't taken his cut yet. After taxes, most people are left with $35,000 to $40,000 to live on, total. Rent, groceries, gas, and boom, it's gone. No wonder everyone feels broke. But here's what makes it worse. Most people think they're the only ones struggling. Because no one posts about the overdraft notifications, the credit card bills, or the sleepless nights. What you see online is the highlight reel of people who might be just as stressed as you. The average worker isn't thriving, they're treading water, one emergency away from sinking. And the wild part? That's considered normal. We've normalized living paycheck to paycheck like it's just part of being an adult. But the data doesn't lie. After taxes, inflation, and bills, there's barely enough left to breathe. Yet, we compare ourselves to influencers driving Teslas and buying homes in their 20s. Most of them aren't rich. They're leveraged to the edge with debt you don't see. Which means the average person isn't doing great financially, but almost nobody admits it. And that's the danger of chasing average, because average today means broke tomorrow. So before we talk about wealth, we have to understand what's really happening underneath the surface. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how you compare and how to get ahead of the curve. Let's start with the next number that defines the future. How much people are saving or not saving. So how much has the average person actually saved for retirement? Brace yourself, this one stings. The median retirement savings in America is just $65,000 across all ages. And here's the kicker. 1 out of every 4 people has $0 saved for retirement. That means millions are planning to survive on Social Security alone, if it's even around by then. Let that sink in. After decades of work, most people retire with less than the cost of a car. People under 25 have a median of just $2,000 saved, barely a month's expenses. By their 30s, that number climbs to $14,000, but life's bills grow faster than savings. Even at 65, the typical retiree has under $90,000. That's maybe $300 a month to live on. Imagine working 40 years and still worrying about groceries and healthcare at 70. That's the new normal. And it's not because people are lazy, it's because nobody teaches us how to build financial security early. Retirement planning feels distant in your 20s and impossible in your 30s until it's suddenly urgent. But here's the truth. Your future peace isn't built with big wins. It's built with small, consistent ones. Start with what you can, automate it, and let compound interest quietly do its magic over time. Because your money doesn't grow when you're inspired, it grows when you're consistent. Now let's look at something that decides how expensive your future becomes. Your credit score. The average FICO score in the US is 715. Sounds solid, right? But a single late payment can drop your score by 100 points and stay there for years. That one missed bill could cost you tens of thousands in extra interest on your mortgage or car loan. A 0.5% difference in your mortgage rate can mean $50,000 more paid to the bank for nothing. That's why protecting your credit isn't about pride. It's about freedom, financial breathing room. Here's the simple formula. Pay on time, use less than 30% of your limit, and avoid new accounts you don't need. Oh, and never close your oldest credit card. It's your history that makes lenders trust you. Think of your credit score as your financial reputation. It opens doors or locks them forever. Yet most people treat it like a background detail until it costs them their dream home or opportunity. The difference between good and excellent credit isn't status, it's tens of thousands of dollars saved. But just like retirement savings, improving it isn't about perfection. It's about patience and habits. Every payment, every small decision, it's all a vote for your financial future. Because your financial life isn't built in breakthroughs, it's built in boring consistency. The people who look lucky later are just the ones who started quietly building when nobody was watching. So before we move on to wealth, let's master the basics most people never do. That's where freedom starts. Let's talk about how people actually spend their money, because this part might shock you. The average American household spends about $5,577 every single month. That's $67,000 a year, which means if you earn less, you're already behind. And that's not savings, that's just keeping the lights on and food in the fridge. Housing eats the biggest piece of the pie, around $1,800 a month. That includes rent, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, utilities just to exist under a roof. Transportation takes another $900, mostly cars, gas, insurance, and repairs that always come at the worst time. Food comes next, about $700 monthly between groceries and eating out. Add in healthcare, debt payments, subscriptions, and entertainment, and the paycheck's gone before it lands. No wonder most people feel broke, because by math, they actually are.
Here's the kicker. Half of households don't even have $1,000 saved for emergencies.
One blown tire, one medical bill, and they're back in the red. It's not that people don't care, it's that the system rewards spending and punishes saving. Think about it: easy credit, buy now, pay later. Endless ads whispering, "You deserve this." We've built a culture where debt feels normal, and saving feels like self-denial. The average household carries over $9,000 in credit card debt. $9,000 of stuff that's already forgotten, broken, or sitting unused. And with 20% interest, that's $1,800 a year just lighting money on fire. The craziest part? Most people think this is just how adulthood works. But that's not normal. That's financial quicksand disguised as lifestyle.
The average person's biggest financial enemy isn't the economy, it's comfort.
Because comfort keeps you stuck buying what you don't need to impress people who aren't watching. And debt makes sure you keep running just fast enough to never escape. But there's a different path, and it starts with awareness, not shame. Track every dollar. Understand where it goes, because clarity is the first step to control. The moment you start questioning your spending, you break the invisible autopilot keeping you stuck. You don't need to make six figures, you just need to stop bleeding what you already earn. Because financial freedom isn't about earning more, it's about keeping more. The average person leaks money through habits so small they don't even notice. But when you fix the leaks, you don't just save money, you reclaim peace.
Let's move beyond spending, because the next number might be the most powerful one of all. It's not your income, not your debt, it's your net worth. Net worth is everything you own minus everything you owe, the real score of your financial game. According to the Federal Reserve, the median U.S. household net worth is about $122,000. Sounds fine until you realize most of that is tied up in home equity, not cash. And for people under 35, the median net worth is just $14,000. That's after a decade of working, paying bills, and trying to get ahead. But here's the twist. Those numbers don't define you, they just expose the system you're in. Because the average person isn't failing, they're following broken advice. Work hard, buy a house, save what's left. It worked in 1985, not in 2025. The rules changed, but most people never got the memo. You can't outwork inflation or debt by just working harder. You need a new playbook. And that playbook starts with awareness, automation, and ownership. Awareness of what you earn and spend, automation of what you save, and ownership of what you invest in. That's how you stop being average and start compounding small wins into big change. Because wealth isn't built overnight. It's built quietly, consistently, while nobody's watching. You don't need to be a millionaire to feel rich. You just need margin. Margin gives you space to breathe, to think, to choose your next move with clarity. That's the real flex. Not luxury, but leverage. The ability to make choices because you want to, not because you have to. So before you chase rich, aim for free. Free from the anxiety that every bill brings, every paycheck dictates, every balance defines. Freedom doesn't come from earning more. It comes from needing less and controlling what you have. The average person chases lifestyle. The wealthy chase longevity. Because money without peace is chaos, but peace with purpose is power. Your goal isn't to escape work. It's to design work that serves your life, not consumes it. That's the quiet upgrade most people never make, from chasing comfort to creating control. When you finally stop trying to look rich and start acting free, everything shifts. The numbers stop defining you. They start working for you. And that's when you realize being average was never the goal. Building peace was.